Alaska experiences extreme temperature variations, with summer temperatures reaching highs of 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and winter temperatures dropping as low as minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit in some regions. This information will be essential to help you have a trip without freezing or getting a fever from the heat. It doesn't stop there due to its nutrient-rich waters. Alaska hosts a dynamic marine ecosystem. With 33,000 miles of coastline, explorers have ample access to fjords, bays, glaciers, and tranquil beaches where you can spot marine wildlife while enjoying exciting water activities. Glide through crystal waters in a kayak and marvel at playful sea lions or harbour seals. Each visit to Alaska's coastal waters during this adventure promises exhilarating encounters with its lively marine life. On the map, Unalaska is a tiny dot far off in the middle of strong seas. But somehow, a diverse group of people make this remote island home and share its wonders willingly with visitors. Seemingly in the middle of nowhere, Unalaska is affixed geographically on the Aleutian Chain, and historically in the midst of 10,000-year-old Unangan culture, and in the eras of Russian fur traders Captain Cook, World War II, and of a commercial fishing industry that ranks above all others in the United States. Unalaska, the small, windswept volcanic rock, draws researchers, tourists, adventurers, birders, World War II buffs, fishermen, and seasonal workers. So many that the population swells from about 4,000 in winter to nearly 10,000 in summer. The land on Unalaska is rough and has many mountains. For most of the year, snow covers the higher parts of the island. The name Unalaska comes from the Aleut language. There are a few ideas about where the name came from. The most likely idea is that it comes from the Russian word Onalashka. This Russian word is an old version of the Aleut word Nawan Alaskaks. This means near the mainland. Unalaska is a rapidly growing and culturally diverse community, primarily focused on fishing and fish processing activities. Subsistence activities remain important to the Unangan community, and many long-term non-native residents as well. Before we head to the next spot, here's a fun question. Which Native Alaskan group is historically associated with southeastern Alaska? Comment your answer. Anderson is located within the Denali Borough of Alaska and stands as its only incorporated community, named after one of the area's earliest homesteaders. Most travelers who pass through Anderson are drawn to Anderson Riverside Park, a peaceful riverfront destination known for its inviting camping opportunities. The surrounding region features a striking waterfall framed by rugged cliffs and vibrant green vegetation, creating a dramatic contrast against the mountainous backdrop. The water plunges into a vivid turquoise pool before continuing its journey through winding streams that eventually empty into the open ocean. Anderson Bay Falls is a remarkable natural attraction in remote Unalaska, offering visitors a glimpse of pristine wilderness far from developed areas. Its secluded nature adds to its appeal, especially for adventurers seeking untouched landscapes and scenic locations rarely seen by casual tourists. Satellite measurements indicate that Anderson Bay Falls reaches a total height of about 161 feet, with an average width of approximately 36 feet. The waterfall is fed by glacial meltwater, which gives the flow its distinctive clarity and contributes to its powerful descent. With a total run of roughly 292 feet, the falls cascade through multiple sections shaped by the rugged terrain surrounding the bay. The contrast between height and depth is not only evident in this waterfall, but also in the fjord at the location we will show you now. If you're watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but it means a lot to us. This pristine fjord is located in Alaska's southeastern strip, a region sometimes referred to as the Panhandle, and certainly known for its photogenic landscape. Endicott Arm was named as such in 1889 by U.S. Naval Lieutenant Commander H.B. Mansfield. It was named after William Crowninshield Endicott, who was the U.S. Secretary of War under President Cleveland. Sparkling still waters, majestic mountains, all these and more are sights that await at Endicott Arm. Enjoy scenes of extraordinary natural beauty as your Cunard Queen sails along this 30-mile stretch of glass-like water at the end of the Tracy Arm Ford's Terror Wilderness. The warmest months in Endicott Arm are June, July, and August, when temperatures reach highs of around 17 degrees Celsius. The coldest months, on the other hand, are December to February, when highs reach around 3 degrees Celsius and lows of roughly -3. This part of the world tends to see rain throughout the year, but the driest period is February to August. An ideal way to spend your time at Endicott Arm, especially if you're in need of a little rest and relaxation, is to simply find your ideal spot on deck and soak it all in. Sometimes the most legendary destinations aren't destinations at all. If you're passionate about ice skating, the following location would be perfect for your next trip. The 25-mile-long Kernick Glacier snakes out of the Chugach Mountains before tumbling dramatically into an iceberg-studded lake that feeds the Kernick River. With a 5-mile-wide face and daily calving, the glacier's an impressive sight. Its 400-foot tall walls of ice rise up from a lake where those icebergs are floating, turning, and breaking apart. The name Koenig is derived from the Inupiaq word ignik, meaning fire. The Dena'ina term for Koenig River was Skitnu, meaning brush river. This glacier used to wreak havoc on the Matsu Valley. Each winter its advance dammed up a lake, which would flood each summer. It's been recognised as a national natural landmark because of the phenomenon. But glacial recession has stemmed the flooding and created a 6-square-mile lake at the glacier face. As climate change continues to impact glaciers worldwide, Koenig Glacier serves as a vital reminder of the importance of conservation efforts and the need to protect our planet's natural wonders. Every winter, the Koenig Glacier would advance, pressing its mass of ice against the side of Mount Palmer, blocking the flow of water from Lake George. The Chulitna River flows to the south out of a huge valley from Broad Pass, one of only 2 breaks in the Alaska Range Mountains, where the highway, the train, the geese, and the river all pass on their way to Cook Inlet. It offers a chance for a float of 75 miles and can take as little as 3 days in kayaks, but can be a nice 4 or 5 day trip. There are 3 forks of the upper Chulitna and the east, and middle forks see floaters during mid to late summer months. The area that collects water for the Chulitna River is called its catchment area. This area is very large, covering about 6,600 square kilometres. The river's average flow near its end is about 250 cubic metres of water per second. This is like a huge amount of water moving very fast. The Chulitna River gets most of its water from melting glaciers. Because of this, the river flows fastest in the summer months, from June to August. This is when the most ice and snow melt. It also has some excellent fishing in the upper sections, and some excellent moose hunting on the wilderness side. If you've been here before, comment number 1. If not, comment number 5. Baranof Island, also known as either Baranof or Sitka Island, lies in the northern Alexander Archipelago in the Alaska Panhandle. Famed for its brown bears and Sitka deer. Its major industries are fishing, processing seafood, and tourism. The first European settlement on Baranof Island was started in 1799 by Alexander Andreevich Baranof. He was the main manager and first governor of the Russian-American Company. This company was involved in fur trading. Baranof Island became the main centre for Russian activities in North America from 1804 to 1867. A report in 1939 called the Slattery Report suggested that new settlements could be created on the island through immigration. However, this plan was never put into action. This tidewater glacier may be a bit of sleeping giant. Off the coast of Yakutat, 200 miles northwest of Juneau, Hubbard is certainly gigantic. It's more than 6 miles wide where it meets the ocean. It's also been very active in the past, having had 2 major surges in the past 30 years. Those surges were big enough to cross the bay, turning the fjord into a lake and threatening to flood the coastal town of Yakutat. For now, the glacier isn't surging, but you could say that it's a pretty light sleeper. It does calve a lot. The face is up to 400 feet tall, and icebergs 3 to 4 stories in height aren't uncommon. Granted, most of that ice is below water. But the ice can be so thick that cruise ships can't get too close. Which country would you like the next video to feature? Let us know in the comments below. This dormant volcano rises 3,202 feet to dominate the view about 14 to 15 miles west of Sitka on the southern lobe of Kruzof Island. Part of an extensive and rugged field of ancient volcanoes that covers about 100 square miles on the island, Edgecumbe last erupted more than 4,000 years ago. The crater is also the site of a smoky April Fool's joke in 1974, when a local man ignited 70 old tyres that had been transported to its crater. Edgecumbe will be unmistakable during clear weather, looming to the west above Sitka Sound as an immense mound, often topped with a crown of snow. Bordered on one side by the scenic Seward Highway, Turnagain Arm is a spectacular setting for wildlife watching. Nature photography and hiking, all just south of Anchorage. The Arm draws its name for British explorer James Cook, who was forced to turn again when the waterway didn't hold the fabled Northwest Passage during his 1778 voyage. The highway also means plenty of access points into the mountains for hiking. A laundry list of trailheads, McHugh Creek, Rainbow and Bird are among the favourites. All branch off from day-use parking along the road. From streamside walks to challenging ascents. The terrain is varied, but always enjoyable. Turnagain Arm is stunning from a distance, but it holds dangerous secrets that can be a hazard for unaware visitors. With plenty of local legends, tragic accidents, and a storied past. Turnagain Arm is worth the drive. Just be careful about getting too close. Be mindful of the tides, especially if exploring tidal flats, as the water levels can change rapidly. Stay on designated trails and be cautious near cliffs and wildlife. Weather can change quickly. Dress in layers and be prepared for rain or shine. One of the most visited glaciers in Alaska, Portage completely covered its lake and reached into the valley in the 1800s. With a terminus well past the current location of the Begich Boggs Visitor Centre, the glacier is legendary for its use by Alaska natives and gold rush pioneers to portage between Prince William Sound and Turnagain Arm. After steadily retreating over the 20th century and exposing a chilly 600-foot deep lake between sheer mountain walls, Portage finally slipped from view in the 1990s. Its face is now behind the left side mountain, about 3 miles from the lakeside parking. Scientists say it appears to be currently stable and has not retreated much since 1999. Still, Portage remains a very active glacier, with its face regularly shattering and dropping great hunks of ice into the lake like a giant conveyor belt, depending on recent events and weather. Icebergs and brash will be visible in the lake near the visitor centre. Visitors to the Portage Glacier Valley have a few options for viewing Portage Glacier and other glaciers in the area. Hatcher Pass isn't actually a town. But nonetheless, this alpine paradise features some unique lodging opportunities that show off the stunning views of the Talkeetna Mountains, gold mining artifacts, and prime year-round outdoor recreation activities including hiking, skiing, snowshoeing, berry picking, and more. Hatcher Pass is a favourite recreation area for residents of the Matanuska-Susitna Valley and Anchorage area, and is easily accessible from Palmer, Wasilla, and Anchorage. Its stunning panoramas are some of the most photographed views in the Mat-Su Valley. This long winter season means that winter sport enthusiasts are able to enjoy their favourite types of winter recreation in early autumn, and long after spring mud has replaced the snow in Anchorage and the Mat-Su Valley. So gather your winter gear and come out to enjoy an exhilarating adventure in one of the most scenic, road-accessible destinations in the state. This road is open year-round except for the last mile to Independence Mine in winter months. Four-wheel drive is recommended during the winter, which is basically October 1st through May 31st. The Hatcher Pass Road from mile 17.5 to mile 32.5 is a rough, gravel, narrow and steep road that is not maintained nor open in the winter. Generally, the road over the Hatcher Pass summit is open only from about July 1st through September 15th, depending on snow conditions. In the summer, the road is open to highway vehicles, but expect slow passage. Use of RVs or large vehicles is not recommended due to the steep grades, rough roads, and tight hairpin corners. The Matanuska River is a river in south-central Alaska, United States. It is about 75 miles long. The river flows through a wide area known as the Matanuska Valley. This valley is located south of the Alaska Range Mountains. The Matanuska River starts where its east and south forks meet. It then flows generally southwest. The river eventually empties into the Knickarm, which is part of Cook Inlet. When boating on the river, there are a few things to be aware of. The water is swift and very cold. Some parts have large standing waves and holes. In the lower sections, you might find plants hanging over or under the water. Strong winds can also blow upriver, making paddling harder. The Glen Highway runs above and alongside the Matanuska for most of its length and provides several locations to start or end a trip. From Anchorage, it is only an hour drive to where the river can be accessed. At mile 118.6, take a dirt road to the south and travel towards the radio tower facility for 2.8 miles. Park at the small turnout and hike downhill to the river. To get to the Lions Head Run, drive the Glen to mile 107, where the highway crosses Caribou Creek, and where there are roads down to the creek, and float 2 miles of Caribou Creek. A mere half-hour drive from Fairbanks, Chena River State Recreation Area is a popular destination for those seeking adventure. Within a short distance of Alaska's second largest city. From mile 26 to mile 51, the paved Chena Hot Springs Road winds through the middle of Chena River State Recreation Area, allowing locals and visitors alike easy access to the 254,080-acre preserve. The Chena River is renowned for its catch and release Arctic grayling fishery. The area also features 4 road-accessible ponds that are stocked annually with rainbow trout and Arctic grayling and open for fishing. Chena River has an excellent hiking trail system, with Granite Tours Trail being one of the most popular. This 15-mile loop, a 5 to 8 hour trek, provides access to the Plain of Monuments, where towering granite pinnacles known as tors dominate a broad stretch of alpine tundra. River activities include the ever-popular riverboat cruises, paddleboarding, canoeing and kayaking in summer months, and skiing, snowmobiling and dog mushing during the winter. You can take the 3-mile river walk along the Chena any time of year and enjoy the interesting sights and sculptures along the way. Deep in the heart of Prince William Sound and surrounded by some of the world's tallest coastal mountains is Valdez, a city of about 3,900 residents in a remarkably picturesque setting. Valdez is located on a wedge of flat land on the north shore of Port Valdez, a deep water fjord, and is a 305-mile road trip east of Anchorage and 364-mile drive south of Fairbanks. Valdez has a notable history, with events both natural and man-made. Learn all about the 1964 earthquake that resulted in Valdez relocating to higher ground, as well as the Exxon oil spill. In addition, you can visit one of the town's many historic parks and sites, including a historic railroad tunnel. The city was named in 1790 by Señor Fidalgo for the celebrated Spanish naval officer Antonio Valdez y de Bazan. In 1898, it became a debarkation point for prospectors seeking a route to Dawson City and the Klondike Goldfields. The heart of Valdez, like so many other coastal towns in Alaska, is its small boat harbour clustered along its waterfront. From there, the town stretches about a dozen walkable blocks back toward the mountains and Mineral Creek Canyon, while nearby Egan Drive, Valdez's equivalent to Main Street, turns into the Richardson Highway and heads north for Thompson Pass. Port of Valdez General Cargo and Container Facility Loading Dock has an overall length of 700 feet, with an apron width of 100 feet. The port is not troubled by excessive tides. There is an average 11.8 foot tide differential, and an excess of 50 feet of water in front of the Valdez container dock at mean low tide. Equipped to transfer cargo directly onto trucks, the port features Foreign Trade Zone number 108, the first in Alaska to offer international shippers many cost advantages. These secured areas at official ports of entry are considered outside the United States for customs purposes to reduce red tape and overhead for importers and exporters expediting foreign commerce. Additionally, available undeveloped land in the thousands of acres sit adjacent to port and along the Richardson Highway, in direct link to the rest of the state. Talkeetna is a unique and lively town located 15 miles off the Parks Highway in Alaska. Nestled in the shadow of Denali, the town offers beautiful views of this majestic mountain from various spots around the area. With a population of just over 1,000 people, Talkeetna provides numerous entertaining and exciting activities for visitors to enjoy during their stay. With only about 1,200 full-time residents, Talkeetna is exactly what many people envision a picturesque small-town Alaska community to be. Packed with charm and seasoned with history, a hand-hewn sign reading, "Welcome to beautiful downtown Talkeetna," greets visitors on Main Street. Although the entire downtown is only 2 square blocks, between chatting with the locals and visiting adorable mom and pop shops, it's easy to lose track of time on Main Street. Talkeetna was settled in 1916 when it was chosen as the district headquarters for the Alaska Railroad. Today, the town is home to a vibrant community of artistic, outdoorsy, and creative individuals. It is a popular destination for both locals and visitors, offering a variety of activities such as flight seeing, rafting, and biking. Additionally, Talkeetna serves as the starting point for climbers aiming to summit Denali. The town is easily accessible. The drive from Anchorage to Talkeetna takes about 2 hours on a fully paved road. The Tanana River is a 584-mile tributary of the Yukon River in the state of Alaska, according to anthropologist William Bright. The name is from the Koyukon and means trail river. Human habitation of the Yukon Basin, including the Tanana watershed, began more than 12,000 years ago. Several sites in the watershed have produced evidence of occupation by Paleo-Arctic people. Later residents include people of the Tanana tribe, which has had a presence in the region for 1,200 years. The river's headwaters are located at the confluence of the Chisana and Nabesna rivers, just north of Northway in eastern Alaska. The Tanana flows in a northwest direction from near the border with the Yukon Territory, and laterally along the northern slope of the Alaska Range, roughly paralleled by the Alaska Highway. In central Alaska, it emerges into a lowland marsh region known as the Tanana Valley and passes south of the city of Fairbanks. In the marsh regions, the Tanana River is joined by several large tributaries, including the Nenana and the Kantishna. It empties into the Yukon approximately 70 miles downriver from the village of Manly Hot Springs, near the town of Tanana. The aerial view says a great deal about Anchorage. Flying over the city, green is the prevailing colour. Anchorage is an urban city with easy access to magnificent scenery, adventurous activities, cultural demonstrations, and wildlife viewing. Within an hour or two from town, you could be kayaking among icebergs, watching brown bears in the wild, or hiking through a rainforest or alpine meadow. There are 3 spots you can board a boat and marvel at glaciers from the water on a day trip from Anchorage. Awe-inspiring tidewater glaciers meet the waters of Prince William Sound. And hanging glaciers nestle in the towering peaks. Anchorage might appear at first glance to be a typical American city, but closer exploration shows some surprising facets of urban life in Alaska. Just a block away, the Alaska Railroad's largest passenger depot is at the centre of train travel, as it has been for more than a century. Access spots beyond the reach of road or rail, with many sightseeing tours by plane or helicopter departing from the city. The coldest temperatures are generally in January and can drop to 10 degrees Fahrenheit in the evening and be around 25 degrees in the daytime. The wind can also blow in Anchorage, meaning it can feel a lot colder without good winter clothing. Ketchikan is known as Alaska's first city due to its location at the southern tip of the Inside Passage. It is the first city you reach as you cruise north. And for many visitors, their first introduction to the beauty and majesty of Alaska. The Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people have lived in southeastern Alaska for over 10,000 years. And their arts, culture, and history can be seen throughout Ketchikan. The town of Ketchikan was founded as a salmon cannery site in 1885. And for years, the city was known as the canned salmon capital of the world. Logging became an important industry as well, and when cruise ships started exploring the waters of the Inside Passage, Ketchikan naturally became a popular port of call. The downtown area is the main commercial district and contains 2 large harbours, several cruise ship docks, and many of Ketchikan's main attractions, including historic Creek Street, a picturesque boardwalk path built over Ketchikan Creek on stilts. The city centre is best viewed from Ketchikan's waterfront promenade that skirts the busy shoreline and is equipped with historical markers and whale-tail benches for visitors to rest and take in the maritime scenery. Exploring Ketchikan's coastline by kayak or canoe is a peaceful way to enjoy the area's natural beauty. Paddling along the calm waters, visitors often encounter marine life such as seals, sea lions, and sometimes even whales. Numerous outfitters offer rentals and guided tours, making it easy for everyone to take part in this enjoyable activity. Unlike so many other Alaskan towns, the rural community of Palmer doesn't have a history rooted in gold mining, but rather one in farming. It was set up as an agricultural community for families voluntarily sent to the area under a government initiative during the Great Depression. Born at the height of the Great Depression as part of President Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal relief program to transplant struggling farmers from the lower 48 to Alaska. In 1935, the down-on-their-luck families stepped off the Alaska Railroad in the Matanuska and Susitna valleys deemed suitable by the government for farming. The soil was rich by Alaska standards, but the growing season was just long enough for cool weather grains and certain vegetables, leaving little margin for error. The farmers' perseverance paid off, however, and today the Mat-Su Valley is Alaska's breadbasket, producing 75% of the state's total agriculture. Palmer is a full-service community with accommodations, restaurants, grocery stores, shops, gas stations, and other visitor services. With towering mountains above and a rushing river below catching light in swirling reflections, the bridge creates an exceptionally scenic and memorable crossing. Reaching it requires travelling along the old Glen Highway, a quieter and more picturesque alternative to the busier main route. The Kernick River Bridge serves as a vital connection between Anchorage and the Mat-Su Valley, carrying heavy daily traffic along the Glen Highway. Its ongoing rehabilitation includes major work on both the northbound and southbound spans to ensure long-term safety and reliability. Engineers are using innovative traffic management tools such as the Road Zipper, designed to shift barriers efficiently and reduce delays during construction. The project also involves replacing aging structural elements, including components dating back to the 1930s when earlier versions of the bridge were first built. All improvements help preserve this key crossing over the König River. A powerful waterway fed directly by the icy expanse of the König Glacier. At 65 degrees north latitude, Fairbanks is renowned for the Northern Lights. Also known as the Aurora Borealis, the midnight sun and sunsets and sunrises that last forever. Base camp to Denali National Park and Preserve, the interior and the Arctic. Fairbanks is the golden heart of Alaska. Home to just over 100,000 hardy souls. The Fairbanks region is the second largest population centre in Alaska. Locals embrace the natural world and have created a vibrant river city in the far north. Where else can you travel to such a remote locale and still enjoy all the amenities of a charming downtown, a thriving arts community, rich Alaska native culture, authentic Alaska activities and attractions, and endless opportunities for exploration? Fairbanks dates back to 1901 when E.T. Barnett cruised up the Tanana River on the SS Lavelle Young with 130 tons of supplies bound for the Tanacross goldfields. The next year, an Italian prospector named Felix Pedro struck gold 12 miles to the north. And Barnett's trading post became a boomtown, with hordes of miners stampeding into the area. The construction of the Alaska Railroad, the Alaska Highway, and the Trans-Alaska Pipeline all contributed greatly to the growth of Fairbanks. Fairbanks' top-of-the-world location makes it one of the best places on Earth to see the captivating light of the Aurora Borealis. But that's not all there is to do in winter. Skiing, ice skating, snowshoeing, ice fishing, tubing, and dog sledding abound. To get out into the backcountry, outfitters offer guided snowmobile tours in the Fairbanks area and Chena River State Recreation Area. Dense green forests, dramatic coastline dotted with islands and waterfalls, and tidewater glaciers spilling down from the mountains make up the varied landscapes of Tongass National Forest, spanning 500 miles across Alaska's Inside Passage region. Treasured by visitors and locals alike. The Tongass is the largest intact temperate rainforest in the world and the largest national forest in the United States. The national forest received its name from the Tongass clan of the Tlingit peoples, who, along with the Haida and Tsimshian peoples, have lived in this area for thousands of years. More than 80% of Southeast Alaska is in Tongass, spanning 11,000 miles of coastline, and home to over 70,000 people living in 32 communities, including Alaska's state capital, Juneau. The Tongass is bordered by the Pacific Ocean and the Coast Mountains, which extend across the Canadian border into British Columbia. The vast coastal terrain is the world's largest temperate rainforest, and its canopy consists of towering hemlock, Sitka spruce, and red and yellow cedar, and alder. Moss and ferns cover the ground, and lichens drape many trees. Even a quick stroll through the drippy, mossy and cathedral-like space within the Tongass rainforest will feel otherworldly. Include a glacier overlook, a roaring waterfall, a coastal vista, or a heart-thumping scramble up the side of a mountain and you'll feel like you're the hero in an old-time adventure movie. Shishnikov River is a small stream, located in the Aleutians West Census area of Alaska, USA. It flows in the western part of the Aleutian Islands on Unalaska Island, eventually reaching Natikin Bay, which opens into Unalaska Bay. It is a part of the island's network of streams and rivers that contribute to the coastal ecosystem. Known for rugged scenery and potential salmon runs. Because the Aleutian Islands are remote and sparsely populated, Shishnikov River is not a major recreational or tourism destination on its own. But it is part of the wild, natural environment that defines this part of Alaska. Adventurous travelers journey to Seward to hike stunning trails, experience abundant wildlife, paddle and fish vibrant waters, and to explore our historic community. This is the ancestral homeland of the Alutiiq, or Sugpiaq people, who have called the rocky coasts and glacial bays home since time immemorial. A spectacular 2.5-hour drive south from Anchorage brings you to this seaside village, which offers a bustling harbour, quaint shops and galleries, and many different ways to tour Kenai Fjords National Park. For people who are more familiar with Seward. Fall from September to early November is also a nice time to visit. Temperatures range between the 30s and 50s. And autumnal colours fill Seward's breathtaking landscapes. September is the rainiest month, but if you don't mind getting wet, fall is cheaper and quieter, allowing visitors to really take in Seward's beauty and local atmosphere. Travellers who want to be in the heart of Seward, close to many great restaurants, shops, and main attractions should book accommodations downtown. Waterfront Park is located in this area, where you can walk along bay and soak in the stunning scenery, along with the Alaska Sea Life Centre. Downtown is a popular place to stay, so book ahead of time to secure your reservation. Hotels, cottages and apartments are a few popular lodging options. A colourful gold rush history, beautiful setting, and a lot of cruise ships make Skagway one of the most interesting and popular towns to visit in the Inside Passage. Location on traditional Tlingit land, Skagway means bunched up or roughed up water, and refers to the whitecaps that form from strong winds. Beginning in 1897, Skagway and the nearby valley of Dyer were the starting place for more than 40,000 gold rush stampeders, who headed to the Yukon primarily by way of the Chilkoot Trail during the Klondike Gold Rush. Today, visitors are transported back in time to the Gold Rush days along the 7-block corridor on Broadway. That features historic false front shops and restaurants, wooden sidewalks, locals in period costumes and restored buildings, many of which are part of the Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park. Tiny in size but big on preservation, Skagway offers an authentic glimpse of the Gold Rush era. Take a downtown walking tour and get a feel for what it was really like. Up to 5 ships a day stop here, and on the busiest days, more than 8,000 visitors. 10 times the town's resident population. March off the ships and turn Broadway Avenue into a modern-day version of the Klondike Gold Rush. TOC is Alaska's official welcoming committee. As the first major community across the Canadian border for Alaska highway travellers. With highways leading away from TOC in all directions. The friendly hub community still offers plenty of reasons to stay a while. The origin of the town's name is still a lively debate in Alaska. Some believe it is named after the nearby Tokai River, which in 1901 was recorded as the TOC River by the US Geological Survey. The town was founded in 1942 as a construction camp for the Alaska Highway, and those working on the highway spent so much money in the camp's construction and maintenance that it earned the name $1 Million Camp. Others believe it was first called Tokyo Camp, which was later shortened to TOC, and some believe it was named after a husky pup. That belonged to the US Army Corps of Engineers in charge of building this section of the Alaska Highway. TOC is 93 miles from the Canadian border and is at the major junction between the Alaska Highway and the TOC Cutoff, an extension of the Glen Highway which heads west toward Palmer and Anchorage. In TOC, most newly arrived visitors get out of their vehicles wide-eyed, still not believing they made it this far north, and then load up on brochures, maps, and travel information for the rest of their journey. Many visitors pass through TOC on the long drive along the Alaskan Highway. What sounds better than stretching your legs after a long drive? TOC has a maintained bike and walking path system leaving from the centre of town. Lake Kenai, over 30 kilometres long and nearly 150 metres deep, is impressive not only because of its impressive surface. The colour of the water is especially impressive, in which you can see probably all possible shades of blue, grey and green. Kenai Lake is glacially fed, which means all of the water in lake comes from the melting glaciers nearby. Many visitors fish on Kenai Lake during the summer months or bring floats to hang out in the cool water. Sweeping westward 1,200 miles from the Alaska Peninsula, the Aleutian Islands are one of the world's most beautiful, dramatic regions. Here, nestled among active volcanoes, sea-sculpted coastline, and mile after mile of rugged, windswept landscape, the adventurous traveller can explore ancient Alaska native village sites, visit agate beaches, view an array of wildlife, or enjoy unparalleled fishing opportunities. The Unangaks people have been living in the area for over 3,000 years. Several communities are located along the Aleutian Islands, including Akutan, Cold Bay, False Pass, King Cove, Sandpoint, Unalaska, and Ardak. These communities share a common heritage and reliance on the North Pacific Ocean and Bering Sea, but each holds its own unique charms. Dutch Harbour is the largest community in the Aleutian Islands, home to about 4,700 residents plus World War II history at the Aleutian World War II National Historic Area, Russian history, and excellent fishing, hiking, and birding. Accessing the Aleutian Islands takes planning and flexibility, as transportation options are limited. The most accessible starting point is Unalaska/Dutch Harbour, located roughly 800 miles southwest of Anchorage. Daily flights from Anchorage to Unalaska are available through regional carriers, and it's recommended that travellers include buffer days into itineraries in case of weather delays. The Aleutian Islands typically have a cool, damp, and sometimes unpredictable climate. During the summer months, temperatures can range from the mid-40s to mid-50s Fahrenheit. Due to the island's remote location and proximity to the ocean, conditions shift quickly. West of Trapper Creek is Petersville, a winter snowmobile paradise in the winter. Petersville has groomed trails and backcountry adventures awaiting at every turn in the trail. If travelling by snow machine, be cautious and yield to dog teams. Pull over, shut off machine and wait while dog teams pass. When driving into Valdez, you will pass through Keystone Canyon. It is a place of spectacular waterfalls, magnificent geology, and fascinating history. Keystone Canyon is located at miles 14 through 17 on the Richardson Highway. While only 4 of them are named Keystone Canyon, hosts over a dozen waterfalls during the spring melt or after several days of rain. The main attractions to Keystone Canyon are Bridal Veil Falls, Horsetail Falls, and the abandoned historic tunnels. For all you thrill seekers, Keystone Canyon is the place for you. Girdwood is one of the 10 most beautiful towns in Alaska and located just 25 miles south of Anchorage. The town is ringed by the Chugach Mountains, and it borders the northernmost rainforest in the world. So in the summer, when Anchorage is overcast, Girdwood is often cool and rainy. But Girdwood's ski-addicted residents don't complain much about summertime rain. That said, Girdwood does see its share of summertime sun. And when it does, there's nowhere better. For many, winter in Girdwood is a non-stop holiday. Skiers, snowboarders, and outdoor enthusiasts revel in the trails and slopes that the town has to offer. Looking for new gear to hit the slopes? Be sure to stop in at the local ski shop. Or opt for a snowmobile ride through the mountains or up to the face of a glacier. Wasilla lies just 45 minutes north of Anchorage. In a short drive, you'll find a wealth of winter activities to fill your day. Wasilla was established in 1917 as a supply base for gold and coal mining in the area. It remained a small town servicing the needs of local farmers until the early 1970s, when the George Parks Highway was built, providing access between Wasilla and Anchorage to the south and Denali National Park and Preserve and Fairbanks to the north. Discover local trails on a snowmobile tour, or opt for a longer backcountry trip that launches nearby. Go winter flight seeing on a helicopter tour, or even get dropped off for some heli snowshoeing. The White Mountains National Recreation Area is home to 200 plus miles of trail, traversing 1 million acres of wilderness, and a mountain range named for the dominant colour of its limestone foundation. One of the most popular hikes in the area is Wickersham Dome on Summit Trail, which travels along ridges and above tree line atop packed dirt and exposed rock, with a panoramic picture of the White Mountains and as far north as the Brooks Range on a clear day. Wickersham Dome is one of the most notable vantage points along the route, in the form of a rounded hilltop. In the southwest corner of the wilderness area, with little in the way to obstruct the views, the trail to Wickersham Dome is defined by elevation gain with quick and dramatic rewards. At its start, you'll follow gradual ebbs and flows through alpine forest and rocky terrain covered in moss, lichens, and wildflowers. Makeshift stair steps appear as the path starts to wind around and up to the crest of the dome. This stretch has the steepest climb, but hikers immediately enjoy expansive views of interior wilderness with plenty of places to stop for a break. Large rocks at the top are popular for bouldering, or to kick back, rehydrate, and take in the view. Alaska offers travellers a rare chance to experience a world where raw wilderness and timeless beauty still reign. Its towering glaciers, pristine forests, and vast open landscapes leave an impression that lingers long after the journey ends. From wildlife encounters to quiet, snow-covered moments, every experience in Alaska feels meaningful and unforgettable. The warmth of its communities and the depth of its cultural heritage add richness to every adventure. In the end, Alaska reminds visitors that some of the world's most extraordinary wonders await in places untouched and wonderfully wild